Well, take a sip of your coffee and then open your wallet for me so I can see inside. How about that? Well, that's what Gare Bear wants you to do. Gary Anandasangaree and the Liberal government are reintroducing Bill C2. Good morning, Canada. They're selling it as a border security bill, but it's been edited. Don't worry, there's some fixes in there. Something meant to keep Canadians safe from money launderers, smugglers, and whatever a new boogeyman the public safety minister can dream up this week. But peel back the label and everything with it, and you'll find something far darker underneath. This bill isn't about safety, it's about control, and it's control of you. It's about surveillance. It's about giving the state, or in this case, provinces, keys to your private life, your wallet, and pretending it's all in the name of strong borders. Let's go.
Welcome to Bakes on Things.
Ooh, we got hot tea or hot coffee. We got hot topics too. Good morning, Canada. Welcome to Bakes on Things, the first sip. I hope you're having a great Wednesday morning so far. Whew, this is a doozy because you know what? People have said all the way up. Pierre Poilievre has said many, many times that the Liberal government is wanting to invade your privacy. But wow, oh wow, do they really want to do it in Bill C2? Like so many Liberal policies before it, it's a Trojan horse, and guess who's running it all? Gary Anandasangaree, the man currently clinging on a thread to the title of Public Safety Minister. He's holding the reins on this one. He's the same guy who couldn't defend his own gun buyback program, the same minister now accused of sneaking lawful access clauses into this so-called border legislation. But of course, he was caught, and the CBC is the one who caught him, oddly enough. They're conveniently, though, getting their information from anonymous sources. Maybe Gary's renter could be one of those. Who knows? But what we do know is that the national broadcaster never seems to find the same outrage for Liberal overreach that they do for conservative accountability. How convenient. But Bill C2, well, that would give government agencies expanded powers to open your private mail should you ever receive mail again, access your digital data as well, and share information across departments, including your banking, all under the loose justification of border enforcement. Imagine that. They call it border security, but somehow it includes the power to snoop through Canadian letters, again, if you ever get those again, emails, and metadata. If that sounds familiar, it's because governments around the world have used this same trick for decades. Dress up domestic spying as national security and then hope that the public's too tired to really notice. And think about it. How exhausted are we all with this Donald Trump stuff, with tariffs and elbows up and other policies? They're hoping you're looking away. Even the United States, the country the Liberals hate the most, the same country Carney loves to lecture, has at least debates about these things. But here, no. We just legislate it. The Liberals are using the American complaint that our border is too porous as an excuse to push 100-page, yes, it's 100 pages, the surveillance bill that reads like a law enforcement wish list. This isn't about Trump's tariffs. It's about power. The U.S. wanted tougher screening. The Liberals decided to interpret that as, let's give ourselves permanent access to Canadians' digital lives. All of it. Banking, credit cards, texts, emails, and of course, snail mail. That's not leadership, though. That's just opportunism. And let's be real honest here, as Mark Carney likes to say. The Liberals have wanted this for years. Ever since the early Trudeau days, they've been obsessed with modernizing data collection and digital governance. That's just code, though, for blurring the line between what's private and what's public. Bill C2 gives them the green light on all of it. It's dressed up in all the right words. Anti-money laundering, border modernization, data efficiency. You think they're going to change all of that? Yes, of course, they said they've changed this bill a little bit, but they're not going to change all of that. What it actually does is expand warrantless access to everything you do. It hands more discretion to the bureaucrats than they've ever had before. It even lets service providers like a Rogers, for example, hand over your information and stay silent about it. Forget this. A year. That's not accountability, that's coercion. They could send all of your texts for the last year to the government without having to tell you they did it. This bill also shows how broken the Liberal communications machine has actually become. They're trying to table a second version of this same bill this week. It's already on the docket now, claiming that they've removed some of the controversial clauses. But if those clauses were never supposed to exist, how did they make it into a 100-page piece of legislation in the first place? The only reason they're walking anything back is because they got caught doing it in the first place. Privacy advocates and opposition MPs from both the Conservatives and even parts of the NDP have been warning for months that Bill C2 oversteps its stated purpose. It's not just a mistake, guys. It's a pattern. It's something that continues to happen. And here's the bigger picture. This is the slow construction of what I would like to call the digital border province, or digital border state, as they'll call it in the US. It's not about people anymore. It's about your data, everything about you, everything around you in data. Your texts, your location, your banking, your credit cards, your transactions, your search history, all slowly being roped into public safety databases. The Liberals are turning Canada into a testing ground for soft surveillance. Just enough intrusion to normalize it, but not quite enough to spark a constitutional crisis. It's clever, it's incremental, and it's extremely dangerous. Gary Anandasangaree keeps saying this is about protecting Canadians from criminals crossing the border. But it's about you in your living room, sending texts. So here's my question. What protection do Canadians get from their own government crossing into their private lives? Who protects us from the watchers? Who guards the guards? Because when a bill like this passes, it doesn't just target smugglers or money launderers, I should say. It targets every single one of you and I. It opens the door for governments to spy first and justify the spying later. And once that power exists, they never, ever give it back. This is how authoritarianism starts in polite countries like ours. Not with tanks in the street, not with soldiers crossing the bridge, but with clauses buried in a border bill. They call it efficiency, modernization, safety for Canadians. They promise oversight. They say the words charter rights just enough times to lull you back to sleep. But behind the scenes, they're building the machinery of surveillance, a system that can be used by any future government to monitor dissent, to suppress government criticism, and to control your behavior. If you think that's dramatic, look at history. Every single government that's overstepped, whether it's in Canada or elsewhere, began by saying it was temporary, it was necessary, and it was in the public interest, everybody. And of course, the CBC, CTV, and the rest of the media will report it just like this. They'll report this like it's no big deal. They already have. Look at the article on CTV posted late yesterday. Government to retable border bill with fewer privacy concerns. Yay! That's what they'll write and already have. Not no privacy concerns, by the way, just fewer. They'll run quotes from Liberal staffers saying Canadians have nothing to fear now. If they have nothing to hide, they'll have nothing to fear. That's the language of every regime that has ever overreached. And what's even more insulting to all of us is that they think we'll fall for it again. So here's the truth about everything here. Bill C2 isn't a border bill. It's a blueprint for control. It's the government's quiet declaration that privacy is negotiable, freedom is conditional, and the data is currency. And the man selling it all to you, by the way, is the same minister who can't even keep his own house in order, literally. It was his literal rental home that gave away the whole gun buyback program issue. Gary Anandasangaree, who's already facing calls for his resignation over the gun buyback fiasco, now wants to be the gatekeeper of your information. He wants to decide what's private in your life and what's public. That's not security, that's just beyond hubris. Canadians need to push back here. I know you hate writing your MPs because they never reply, but it's still one way to do it. Flood the committees, flood the communities on Facebook groups, do the comments here, demand a full public review. Call the CBC and ask why they never seem to find the same skepticism for liberal privacy breaches that they do for conservative sound bites. Make the noise, Canada, because silence is consent. That's what it is. And Bill C2 depends on your silence. If this thing actually passes, your data, your communications, your mail, even just your letters could all become fair game to our government. So, no, this isn't about strong borders. It's about weak boundaries, the ones between you and your government. Bill C2 isn't a policy, it's a test. It's a test for all of us. And if Canadians don't push back now, guess what? We are going to fail that test. So to Gary Anandasangaree and your boss, Mark, Gare Bear, listen up. You can call it border enforcement all you want, but I see it for what it is, a border between Canadians and their freedom, and we're not letting you cross it. Thanks for watching Bakes on Things, the first sip. I hope your Wednesday is fantastic and your coffee's even better. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, have a conversation about Bill C2 down below. Let's hear it. What do you think? Are you proud of this bill? Are you excited for it to come? I highly doubt that you are. Do you want your cellular service provider to be able to give the government all your texts and not tell you about it till 2027? I'm pretty sure you don't. Have yourselves a wonderful day. We'll see you at the last word tonight at 6 o'clock. See you then.